Welcome to Trump Breaking News Network, your daily source for up-to-date news on the political scene of Donald Trump, his presidency, American politics and conspiracies. Please subscribe to receive notice of our daily updates. Also share with your friends and your social media. We encourage you to like our videos and give your comments.
This is TBNN.
Trump takes physical exam, now the results are in. In a normal country, it would be good news that its elected leaders and fine fettle, but in America 2018, liberals are going crazy after President Donald Trump's physician reported the president is in excellent health. According to the New York Times, Trump was examined on January 12 at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. That same day, White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders tweeted a statement by Trump's physician, Dr. Ronnie L. Jackson. The president's physical exam today at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center went exceptionally well, Jackson said. The president is in excellent health and I look forward to briefing some of the details on Tuesday, he continued. Information about the president's weight, blood pressure and cholesterol levels will be released at that news conference. According to USA Today, the White House will allow reporters to ask Jackson questions about the president's mental and physical fitness for office. If Trump had something to hide, he would not willingly give the results of his exam to the media. The physical comes amid uproar from liberals who say the president is not fit for office, as they have since Trump defeated Democrat Hillary Clinton in one of the biggest political upsets in American history. Do you think President Trump is mentally and physically fit for office? Yes, no. Completing this poll entitles you to our news updates free of charge. You may opt out at any time. You also agree to our privacy policy and terms of use. Not only have they implied the president is obese, have also questioned Trump's mental capacity after they claim he slurred words during his speech when he announced the United States was recognizing Jerusalem as the official capital of Israel. Liberals are shaking in their boots at the idea that Trump is probably healthier than they are, physically and mentally. They know that once the full report is released on January 16, they won't have any legs to stand on. They will just have to find another way to try and destroy the Trump, and another way to fail at it. Why do you think liberals are questioning the president's health? Scroll down to comment below.
This has been the Trump Breaking News Network. Please subscribe and share to stay up to date on the latest news about our president. Be informed.